All right, this is OXDF, and I'm looking at Yara analysis from the Sans 2021 Holiday Hack Challenge. Yara is this super neat tool. I've talked about it before. It's one where that lets you basically do advanced pattern matching and looking ways of running scanning over large bodies of files or a single file very quickly to look for patterns, look for rules. It's a language that people use to share patterns about different malware families and different file types, etc. It's super cool, and I'm excited to see it in a challenge this year. So the challenge they've set up for us here is we've got this terminal where we have the Critical Elf app, and we have a series of Yara rules in this Yara rules.yar file. The rules.yar file is huge. So if we look in it, we'll go in it in a second. And the thing we need to be able to do is we need to be able to run the Critical Elf app. And it seems like this is set up in such a way that if a Yara rule matches on it, it blocks the execution and stops. Or maybe it runs it against itself and checks. I'm not exactly sure how it's implemented, but the point is I got to change the binary so that it avoids the Yara rules. And so I can start off here and say, okay, so it's hitting on Yara rule 135. Let's figure out what that is. So we can do Yara rules.yar, and we can do a search for underscore 135. There are tons of rules here. I mean, if I start going down, the rule set is ginormous. You can see I'm 6,000 lines in and 7%. So there are a lot of rules. So that may come into play. In fact, that's biting me here because I'm finding the wrong rule. Let's see, underscore 135 space. There we go. So this is the first rule that it's hitting on. And this will be a chance to talk about Yara rules and how they work. The meta stuff is all nice, but it's not actually a part of the rule. Often you're going to put like a hash here and talk about, what file was this based on? Why are you doing this? What's the family? What do we want to point out? The important stuff for the rule is then the strings and the condition. So we define a bunch of strings in here. In this case, there's only one string. It's defined as the variable s. It's the string candy cane. And the condition is s. So this is pretty simple. If candy cane is in the binary, it's going to hit. We'll deal with a more complicated rule momentarily. So what we can do is we can actually, you can be scared of this and you want to be careful when you're messing around, but you can open up a binary in Vim just like you could anything else, and you can do a search with, for candy cane. I can even start to edit this binary. The important thing is I can't change the spacing. The binary expects things to be lined up in memory where they are. So I cannot change this from candy cane to Andy cane or just a cane. But there's no reason I can't come here right in the middle of the thing and replace one character, so now I have Candy Yane. That's fine. That's not going to throw off the execution of the binary at all, unless it's like checking that string specifically. But in general, that should be fine. One other thing you'll note, I was actually on top of the Y when I tried to put another Y in, which is not an effective demo, but I got lucky. Sometimes when you open up a binary like this, there's going to be like zero width characters or other, just formatting characters or things that cause your terminal to act a little funny. That's fine. Just sort of work around it. So in this case, I wrote over Candy Yane. If it was really important for me to write over that Y instead of that, I could come back here and change this back to C and then go over the D and replace this with 5 K and 5 cane. I mean, you just have to sort of figure out what's going on. So with that, we can right quit, get out of here, and let's try to run it again and see what happens. Another rule is hit, rule 1056. This might be a good opportunity to talk about the Yara binary and how annoyed I am at them. So they say right here that we are going to have access to the Yara application. If I try to run Yara, I get permission denied. It's user bin Yara. If I do a ls-l on user bin Yara, you can see it is owned by root and that it's in the root group and that I have no access to it. I cannot read it, I cannot write it, and I cannot move it. So annoyingly, I cannot use it. What I haven't tried, and maybe I should, is can I do a find that -name Yara? Oh no, I did do this actually earlier, and there's some other files that are documentation and folders and stuff, but the binary is not on this terminal, despite the fact they promised it would be. So I'm gonna do a little trick at the end here. I'm gonna come back and actually pull Yara. We'll see if it might be at the end, it might be in the middle, we'll see. I'll pull Yara from my computer and bring it onto the terminal so we can use it. But we don't need it yet. So let's look, rule 1056. So we're gonna go back into the rules and figure out what rule underscore 1056 is. And so In addition to making strings, quotes with characters between them, you can also express them as hex characters. And so there's two sets of hex characters here. One is called S1 and the other one is HS2. And the condition is all of them. So this rule will hit if both of these strings are present. If one or the other, fine. Neither, fine. But both, and we match. So we need to remove at least one of these strings from the binary. So let's figure out the fastest way to do this, and it might just be here to go into Cyber Chef and see what we can find. Let's say from hex. So the first one is libc.so.6. I'm actually a little bit scared to change that one because that is actually could be a reference to the library that it's going to try to load. Let's see if the other one is more palatable for changing. Okay, this one looks better. It's just rowgram with 2 exclamation points. That does not look like something that's like part of the code. So given that we only have to change one of them, let's change rowgram. This would be much nicer to do it, by the way, if I had tmux going, I could have panels and show the rule in one and the binary in the other, but we're in this terminal, so we're going to make it work. So we're going to do / rowgram. There it is. This is critical for the execution of the program. I wonder if we're still a character behind. Let's come right here and we will do R to replace and question mark. And now this is critical for the execution of the program. I don't know. And we'll get rid of it, right quit. And let's see if we've solved our problem where we run the app. We're no longer hitting on 1056, looking much better. So we're going to rinse and repeat here. So Vim, let's find those Yara rules, 1732. Okay, so this one, let's check it out. It's defining 20 different strings, S1 through 20, and the condition is that this uint32 at 1 is 454C blah blah blah, and the file size is less than 50K, and 10 of them. So there's a couple things we can look at here. This first bit, 454C4602. Let's look at that real quick. If we do a XXD of the critical app and we put it into head to just get the first 10 lines, you can see here that starting at an offset of 1, I don't know why they skipped the first one, but it's 454C4602. That's ELF. So that is the ELF header. We're checking to see if the 4 bytes starting one offset into the binary are the ELF header. So that's what this uint32 of that is right here. Because of the byte order, that's why we do this in reverse order. So the real question is 10 of them, there's 20 strings here and 10 of them have to hit for this rule to trigger. This is where, when I originally solved this, I just basically manually started going through one by one and trying to figure out what I can replace. The key here is some of these might be important and some of them might not. The good news is we've already taken care of number 1. We've already we've changed that to a question mark, so we shouldn't be hitting there. We can just start to go through these one by one and see. And the trick I'm going to recommend for this, when we're doing it kind of the brute forcey way, is just check it after every edit. Because when you're editing a binary file, if you make something get off, you want to know what you changed and you want to know how to undo it. So the first thing we're going to do is we will come back and Vim the critical app. We will search for that entry. I don't like messing with stuff in here, honestly, but we got to try it because we have too many of the rules look like they land in here that if we don't accept this section, we're not going to be able to get down 10 of them. So let's make that undo. Let's make this insert. There we go. I deleted an N and put an N in. There we go. Entery. Let's see if we still run. So we're going to basically get in a pattern here of, okay, it's running fine. It's still getting caught. So let's come up here and get, what's the next thing we need to get? Note.gnu.property. It's right there. And maybe we'll replace that with an N. So it's nnu.property. Up 3 times, we run the app. Okay, we're still getting caught, but we're not getting errors, so we're gonna keep going. The next one was EH frame header. 3 EH frame. And again, I'm kind of just arbitrarily picking a place to overwrite one character just to change it, because once one character is different, it's not matching anymore. And we run the critical app. Okay, we're still doesn't seem like we've broken it. Underscore underscore frame underscore end. Right. Let's see, so can we change this? Maybe replace that with that. Did we break anything? No, we did not. So the next one, GNU EH frame header. GNU. And we'll just replace one of those with a dash. Run it. If I remember correctly, one of these is going to cause a break. Let's see. So the next one is frame dummy. There we go. We've now just changed it slightly so it still doesn't match. Okay, we're still matching. Let's get our rules. Next one is note GNU build ID. Okay, we changed it slightly, made that an underscore. We're getting pretty close here. Completed 8060. Okay, but fix that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to run it. Let's see, do we run? Okay. Oops. Nice. We gotta get the rules to get our next rule. IO standard in used. Okay. Make it OO standard in used. VMUR rules. Note ABI tag. Got an underscore. We're getting close here. We should be. I wonder if some of these are in there twice. Let's look for naughty string and dastardly string, because those seem certainly like they would be easy to change. String. Let's replace that with an underscore. Oh, missed it, but it doesn't matter. String. There's dastardly. Oops. Place with an underscore. Is it anywhere else? No. Okay, so we just knocked off 2 there. And we may have succeeded. So that was like the slow and kind of painful way. Let's see. We're seeing if we messed anything up that cost us too much. No, so we succeeded. That was all slow and a little bit painful. Let me show you. I'm gonna grab. Let's close this out. Re-enter. And let me grab here. You can see I was just playing with this a minute ago. Clear. This big for a second so you can see it. If I get Yara off my computer here and base64 encode it, in fact, let's do clear minus, make this really small and run it again. Now we want to just grab that up through there, copy that, and then we can come in here and do an echo, paste that into base64 minus D into Yara. And what's cool about it, now we can do change mod plus X Yara. Now we can run Yara. And what's nice about this, there's a few things we can do to sort of check out and get a better feel for what we're doing here. We run Yara -- help. Oh, no, we don't even need that. So we can do Yara. Yeah. type all of a sudden. And now it takes a rules file. So that'll be Yara rules. And then it takes a file. So the critical F. And if we run that right there, real quickly, we say, here's the 3 rules that hit. 135, 1056, and 1732. That's kind of neat. If we add a -s to our Yara here, it'll give us the individual strings that match. And this is really nice. This is where I think having Yara at the start would have been really nice, because I could have come in here and said, okay, here's the rules that match. I need to change out candy cane. I need to change out, look at the rule and say I need to change out one of these. And then I can see like, oh, here are the 20 strings. All 20 of them are hitting. Interestingly, like 16 is hitting multiple times. Frame dummy hits twice, and I only changed it once, so I bet you that that's part of why I had to go a little further than I expected. But so that would be very nice. And as I made adjustments, I could rerun this and get exactly not only the number of times it's hitting and what's hitting, but I could see the offsets to what's hitting if I wanted to use that. So it's just super helpful to play with. One other thing I did want to show you, if I do, is that I can break it. I think, let's see. So if I do this, if I look for glibc, glib, there you go. Man, what am I doing wrong? Okay, let's leave it there. And one thing I did try coming in here is like, what if I just make this a 4 and close this? And then I ran the critical elf app, and it actually throws errors here because it is trying to look up this version of glibc and not finding it. So really, that's just to show it is possible. You do have to be careful. You can't just come in and arbitrarily start changing everything. When I looked at these things that hit, the ones that jump off to me right away, like this one clearly seems like a string that's meant to be printed. Anything that's going to be printed, the program probably doesn't care about the structure of. So same thing with naughty string, dastardly string. This is a holly jolly variable, probably can go no problem. The flag can go no problem. Now I start getting to stuff that looks more computer used and where I have to be careful. It turns out most of it still isn't. Most of it still is, there for some kind of labeling, or, it's there so that if you do start diving into labeling sections of the binary, so that if you do start diving in to do analysis on it, they're labeled. But, really not necessary for execution. And that's why I was able to just change individual characters in each one to make sense. But anyway, that's enough of your Yara ramble. We've solved the challenge and gone a little bit deeper. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I will talk to you next time.